If, as a family office, you're looking to invest in some small to mid-sized projects, or projects that aren't so hot in the market, not the top tier ones, and not those absolutely high profit, big name companies. I think if the projects aren't like that, just regular, ordinary projects, then I believe family offices are capable of participating. But what kind of result might that lead to? Like you said, you might end up paying a higher price, the investment cycle might be longer, and the accuracy might not be as high. Objectively speaking, since we are professionals in this field, we know just how tough and challenging it can be. Because there's a very important characteristic in consumer goods. Once a consumer goods company hits its inflection point and truly becomes a brand with strong viability, innovation, and value creation abilities in the market, it usually doesn't have any shortage of cash flow. So, generally speaking, not to mention family offices or non professional consumer goods investors, even for regular consumer goods investors, for companies like the ones we invest in, even the most experienced professionals may not be able to get in on those deals. So you can see that many of the industries we invest in, like Jingmeilong, Donghong, Barbie, and Lao Xiangji, these companies are basically exclusive. Why are they exclusive to us? It's not just that Jiahua happened to get lucky and stumbled upon them. It's actually because you have a certain level of expertise. As a professional investor, you can genuinely create value for these companies in areas like strategic positioning, internal controls, operational management, branding and distribution channels, market consumer behavior, consumer psychology, and even enterprise digitalization, among others. If you can create value, you'll probably earn the respect of your users and your partners. This is a game of mutual respect, so you'll be able to get relatively better returns and pricing, and you'll be able to enter these investments as a strategic investor rather than just a financial investor. But for most family offices and small to medium sized funds, or what I would call non professional or non specialized funds, I believe they have no chance to survive or win in the long run in this tough and challenging industry. If you want to invest in essential, high frequency, basic infrastructure projects for people's livelihoods, where the prices are reasonable, the future is highly certain, and you're basically guaranteed not to lose money with potential annualized returns of 20%, 25%, or even over 30%, then I think that's really the work of a professional institution, not something for a part time or generalist fund or a firm like a consultancy. A family office that can consistently and sustainably maintain this kind of capability over the long term. First, when working in a family office or with family affairs, one of the most important things we emphasize, let's call it, is being objective and rational. Being objective means recognizing that while economic benefits matter, discovering life's value and meaning matters more. To become a true professional, I believe learning is even more crucial. But in this process, we must stay objective. So, what's the first aspect of being objective? It's acknowledging that the learning curve exists, because the consumer industry has a pretty steep learning curve. As I mentioned earlier, it covers a wide range of categories, the expertise required is very specialized, and the supply chain is especially long. On the surface, it seems like everyone can say a few words about consumer goods, and everyone thinks they can dabble in the industry. But when it comes to actually doing something in consumer goods, creating a true Chinese lifestyle, building a Chinese brand, and really connecting with everyday people, very few can actually pull it off. There are barely any Chinese consumer companies with revenues over 30 billion. Why is that? Because the learning curve is so steep. That's why I think it's really important to be objective, to objectively recognize your own goals and intentions. But at the same time, you really need to have a collaborative attitude with the market to work together even as you compete. That's how you can shorten your own learning curve, and that's truly the smartest approach. Second, you need to have reason, a deep understanding. Rationality is very important because whether you're running a family office or you're an entrepreneur, I think success is really important. We can't just rely on youthful hormones and think, I have money, so I can get things done. It's easy to fall into that kind of simplistic logic. If I have money, I'll definitely succeed. If I have money, I'll definitely be better than others. Honestly, I used to think that way when I was younger too. But the more I read and the older I get, the more rational and restrained I become. People should find opportunities, not waste. Small victories come from intelligence, great victories from virtue. Occasional victories come from timing, consistent victories from expertise. I think this is important. Being professional is crucial. Let experts handle what they're good at, stay by their side and observe, learn wholeheartedly, because sooner or later you'll establish your own path. I believe this is part of the process. Even if someone is as gifted as Guojing, he still needs guidance from someone like Hong Qigong. Only after learning the 18 dragon subduing palms and going through all kinds of trials, even begging on the streets, does he finally succeed. Just like in Heaven's Sword and Dragon Saber, I think it's all a process.